The stars were silent, but the massive alien spaceship hummed with power. Aliens from countless worlds had gathered here, each species more advanced and terrifying than the last. They floated in the vast hall, their many eyes fixed on the glowing containment chamber at the center. Inside, humans stood quietly, unaware, or perhaps pretending to be unaware, of the watchful eyes around them. The air was tense. Every alien knew the rule. It was a rule older than most civilizations, older than the oldest star in the galaxy. Humans were off-limits. No alien dared harm them. Breaking this law was said to bring death, not from the humans themselves, but from forces beyond understanding. A new alien commander, tall and covered in iridescent scales, stepped forward, unaware of the full weight of the rule. He had trained for war, conquered worlds, and faced the fiercest creatures, but humans were different. Something about them made even the strongest aliens hesitate. His claw brushed close to the containment field, and the room froze. Every alien stiffened, their attention locking on him. Even the oldest generals looked nervous. One small spark of curiosity could destroy everything. Whispers moved across the room like shadows. "Do not touch them," a voice hissed. "It is forbidden." The human inside the chamber, a young woman with dark hair and calm eyes, looked directly at the commander. She did not move, but he felt a strange pressure, as if her gaze could reach into his mind. His claw hovered, and for a moment, time seemed to slow. He could feel the eyes of thousands upon thousands of aliens on him, waiting. And then, something unexpected happened. The woman smiled faintly. It was not a friendly smile, not a mocking one either. It was a smile that carried centuries of secrets, power that no alien could fully measure. The commander recoiled, stepping back, his heart racing. His mind screamed at him to attack, to test if the legends were true. But instinct, fear, and something deeper held him back. The Council of Aliens began to speak. Their voices were harsh, vibrating with authority. They reminded the commander of the ancient law. "Humans are sacred," said one elder with 3 eyes and wings that shimmered like gold. "No alien shall harm them. To break this law is to invite death beyond imagining." Murmurs of agreement filled the hall. Some aliens crossed their limbs, others lowered their heads. They knew stories of those who had tried and failed. None had lived to tell the tale. The commander's curiosity burned, but so did his fear. Suddenly, the containment field flickered. A subtle hum rose, different from the ship's usual sound. The young woman inside the chamber raised her hand slowly. She did not speak, yet the aliens could feel her presence. Energy seemed to pulse from her fingertips, gentle but undeniable. The commander could feel his claws tingle, his scales shiver. He realized that humans were not just fragile creatures to be feared. They were something else entirely. Something beyond understanding. Something even the oldest aliens could not fully measure. Stories passed through the hall like sparks. Legends of humans who had fought entire fleets, humans who had survived impossible conditions, humans whose minds could bend technology and energy to their will. No alien dared confirm them, but no one could deny them either. The new commander felt a chill. The whispers of fear grew louder in his mind. Was it really safe to be near them? Could a human strike without touching, without raising a weapon? He shivered at the thought. The woman in the chamber stepped forward. The humans were rarely allowed to move, yet her steps were calm, measured. Aliens took a step back instinctively, even though the containment field held her. She reached the edge and paused, looking at the commander again. Her eyes glowed faintly, just enough to make him feel a strange heat in his chest. His mind raced, thinking of all the wars he had won, all the planets he had conquered. And yet here, before him, stood a human who made him question everything. He could hear his own thoughts. Why can't we harm them? Why does this law exist? What makes them untouchable? The other aliens watched silently. No one answered. Even the oldest generals looked worried. Some said the humans were blessed by the galaxy itself. Others whispered about powers hidden deep in human DNA, powers that could destroy civilizations. The commander felt trapped in his own mind, caught between curiosity and fear, between desire and survival. Then, as quickly as it had begun, the moment ended. The human lowered her hand. The energy pulse faded, leaving a quiet tension in the air. The commander took a step back, breathing heavily. His claws twitched nervously. The council spoke again, reminding everyone that humans were not to be harmed, ever. He nodded, swallowing hard, but the question stayed in his mind, gnawing at him. What if humans are more than we were told? The aliens left the chamber one by one, whispering to each other, exchanging warnings and stories. The young human remained calm, her eyes calm but alert. The rule had held, as it always had. But the spark of curiosity in the new commander had been lit. Something had changed. He could not ignore it. Somewhere deep in the galaxy, humans were rising, quietly and carefully, while aliens watched from afar, terrified and fascinated at the same time. The universe had rules, and this was the one rule no one dared break. The alien council hall was silent after the previous encounter. Every member was deep in thought. They could not stop thinking about the human woman in the containment chamber. Her calmness, her hidden power, the strange energy that had pulsed from her hand, all of it haunted their minds. Some whispered that humans were no ordinary creatures. Some even said they might be gods in disguise, hiding behind fragile bodies. The aliens had seen many powerful species, but nothing like humans. They had conquered planets, destroyed fleets, and yet humans seemed untouchable. Even the most aggressive species felt fear when they thought about harming a human. Across the galaxy, humans were quietly moving, living their lives, building their worlds, and hiding secrets that no alien could fully understand. On a distant planet, in the heart of a forbidden archive, an alien scholar had discovered something that made him shiver. He had been searching through ancient records, hoping to find weaknesses in humans, something that would make the rule easier to follow. What he found instead made him stop breathing. Holographic images flickered to life in the dark room. Humans were shown fighting alien armies far stronger than the ones in the present. They moved with speed, intelligence, and precision that no alien could match. Ships that should have been destroyed repaired themselves instantly under human command. Weapons that seemed impossible to control were wielded with ease. The images showed humans saving entire planets from invasion, humans taking control of situations that even the most powerful alien generals feared. The scholar realized that humans had been a mystery for centuries, a force that no one fully understood. Word of the archive reached the alien council quickly. The elders debated, their voices tense and harsh. Why are humans forbidden? One asked. Why have they been allowed to exist while others perish? Another elder, his tentacles trembling, replied, "It is not a choice. It is a law written by the galaxy itself. To harm a human is to invite destruction beyond imagination." Some of the younger aliens were angry. They wanted to test the humans, to see if the legends were true. They wanted to strike and prove that the rule was just a superstition. But fear held them back. Even the thought of failure was terrifying. Meanwhile, on a remote human outpost, humans moved quietly but efficiently. They repaired ships damaged in secret skirmishes, trained soldiers who could fight without weapons, and studied alien technology, learning to improve it in ways aliens could never imagine. They were calm, confident, and aware that the galaxy was watching. Humans did not boast about their power, but it radiated from them naturally. The aliens who observed them could sense it, even from light years away. Curiosity grew, but so did fear. What if the humans were preparing something no alien could survive? Back at the archive, the scholar realized the humans had hidden messages in the images. Their victories were not just about war, they were about protection. Humans had saved alien civilizations before, intervened when worlds were about to fall, and punished aggressors in ways subtle and decisive. The rule against harming humans was not just fear, it was respect for intelligence, strategy, and power beyond comprehension. The scholar felt a chill. If humans were already capable of this in the past, what were they capable of now? In the council hall, discussions became heated. Some aliens wanted to approach humans diplomatically, to understand them, to learn from them without breaking the rule. Others whispered of rebellion, of testing the human strength in secret. The new commander from the previous encounter remained silent, haunted by memories of the young woman in the chamber. He remembered her smile, the quiet confidence in her eyes, the way she seemed to control the energy around her without effort. He wondered what humans were planning. Were they aware that aliens were watching? Did they know their own power? Could they see the thoughts of the aliens who plotted against them? A sudden alarm rang through the council ship. Scouts reported movement near a human outpost. It was unusual. Humans rarely revealed themselves to outsiders. The council panicked. Some believed this was a test. Others feared it was a trap. The new commander volunteered to lead a small team to investigate, his curiosity overwhelming his fear. As he approached the outpost, the humans did not hide. They watched him, calm, yet alert. The commander felt that same strange pressure, the feeling that humans could see him as clearly as he saw them. He lowered his weapons slowly. Any sudden move could provoke them, but he realized that humans did not need weapons to defend themselves. Their presence alone was enough. The human leader stepped forward, her calm gaze meeting the commander's. She spoke softly, but her words carried weight. "We have been watching you too. You are curious, but you must understand the rules. Do not harm humans." Her voice was gentle, yet it echoed in the commander's mind. He felt fear, respect, and fascination all at once. The humans did not need to fight, they had already won through presence and intelligence. The aliens backed away, realizing that any aggression would be foolish. As the commander returned to the council, he could not stop thinking about what he had seen. Humans were more than survivors. They were protectors, strategists, and perhaps something even greater. The rule was not just a law, it was a warning, a shield against chaos. Whispers spread through the council. What if humans are planning something we do not yet understand? What if their patience is endless, and their power is beyond imagination? The room fell silent. No alien dared to speak further. They all knew that humans were not just off-limits, they were untouchable. And somewhere, hidden across the stars, humans smiled, quietly preparing for a galaxy that could never fully control them. The galaxy was quiet, but the tension among the alien fleets was unbearable. Every commander, every soldier, and every scout whispered the same question: what makes humans untouchable? The young commander who had seen the human woman in the containment chamber could not forget her calm presence. He replayed the memory constantly, her smile, her steady gaze, and the faint energy that seemed to hum around her. Even the thought of touching a human again made him shiver. Orders had been clear, no alien could harm humans, yet curiosity gnawed at him like fire. He could not resist the need to see more, to understand why they were so forbidden. A small scouting team was assembled, composed of some of the bravest, or perhaps most reckless, aliens in the fleet. They were instructed to approach a human outpost on a distant, isolated planet. The humans did not expect visitors, and the aliens hoped to learn something without breaking the sacred law. Their ship descended silently through the dark skies, cloaked in technology designed to hide them from sensors, yet every movement felt wrong, as if the planet itself was aware of their presence. As the team landed near the outpost, a strange calm greeted them. The air was different here, crisp and almost alive. No alarms sounded, no humans rushed out, and yet an invisible tension filled the place. One alien, braver than the others, stepped forward and reached toward a human device left outside, a small, simple-looking box. The moment his claw touched it, a shockwave of energy pulsed outward. He was thrown back, his scales burning with pain, his mind stunned. The other aliens froze. They could feel it, a power unlike anything they had ever experienced. The humans had not moved, had not struck, and yet the intruder was immobilized as if the planet itself had rejected him. From the shadows, humans watched silently, calm and composed. Their presence was invisible, but their control over the area was absolute. The commander realized that this was no ordinary technology. Humans had a connection with their environment, with energy, and perhaps even with life itself in ways aliens could not comprehend. The team pulled back, shaken, their fear now mingled with awe. They returned to the fleet with stories that would make even the oldest generals tremble. The humans were no mere creatures, they were a force, subtle yet overwhelming. Even the most reckless aliens would think twice before approaching again. Meanwhile, the human leader, standing on the edge of her city, had seen the entire attempt. Her eyes glowed faintly in the night as she whispered to her subordinates, "They are curious, but they do not understand. Let them learn slowly. Let them see, but not touch." She moved with precision, her footsteps silent, yet every shadow seemed to obey her presence. The aliens did not know it, but humans had anticipated such visits for centuries. Every human city was designed with hidden defenses, traps that could immobilize the strongest alien soldiers, and technology that appeared simple but was far beyond alien comprehension. The command center hummed with quiet energy as humans coordinated silently, observing the intruders without revealing themselves. The aliens felt a pressure in the air, subtle and terrifying, as if the planet itself were alive, protecting its inhabitants. Whispers spread across the alien fleet, "The humans are everywhere. Their control is perfect. Their power is beyond what we imagined." Panic began to grow in small waves among the younger alien commanders. Some wanted to strike again, to test if the first encounter was a fluke. Others shook their heads, unwilling to risk the wrath of beings they did not understand. The young commander remembered the woman's gaze from the containment chamber, and he knew instinctively that she would not have even needed to touch them to defeat any attack. The humans were patient, careful, and observant, letting the aliens reveal their intentions while keeping themselves untouchable. One alien whispered to another, "They are not just humans. They are something else entirely. Something we cannot fight directly." The fleet commander called for a council meeting immediately, sensing that the balance of power in the galaxy was shifting. No alien dared to speak of attacking again, at least not openly. The humans had shown their strength subtly, yet decisively. Even the thought of returning to the outpost caused anxiety to ripple through the alien ranks. The young commander sat alone, staring at the stars, thinking of the human leader who had seen every movement, who had controlled the outcome without a single gesture of aggression. "What are they planning?" he whispered to himself, a question no one could answer. The humans remained calm, confident, and completely in control, as if they had been waiting for centuries for aliens to test them. The fleet's whispers grew louder, their fear growing into awe. Somewhere in the galaxy, humans smiled quietly, watching, knowing, and letting their enemies learn the truth slowly. The aliens realized that the rule was not just about avoiding humans, it was about survival. Breaking it could mean death, chaos, or even the end of entire fleets. And in the shadows, the humans prepared silently, ready for the galaxy to finally understand that they were untouchable, unstoppable, and far more powerful than anyone could imagine. The galaxy seemed calm, but beneath the surface, fear and curiosity stirred in every alien fleet. The young commander could not stop thinking about the humans he had seen on the remote outpost. Their presence, their control, and the way they had silently overpowered his team haunted him. He replayed every detail in his mind, the faint energy, the calm eyes, the invisible control that seemed to bend the environment to their will. Across the galaxy, reports arrived of other humans quietly repairing ships damaged in skirmishes, often before any alien could even realize the repairs had begun. The technology they used was simple in appearance, yet it operated far beyond anything aliens had ever imagined. Weapons, engines, and systems that should have taken months to fix were completed in hours, with no mistakes, no accidents, and no signs of strain. The humans themselves moved with precision and patience, as if the universe obeyed them naturally. The young commander realized that their power was not just in strength, it was in intelligence, strategy, and subtle control that could dominate without a single strike. He decided he needed to see this firsthand, to understand how humans operated so effortlessly. He requested permission from the council to observe a human ship during one of their missions. The elders hesitated but agreed, warning him again that humans were untouchable and that curiosity could be dangerous. The commander accepted, driven by fascination and fear. As he approached the human ship, he noticed its design. Smooth, elegant, almost fragile-looking, yet he could sense an immense power within. No shields blared, no weapons flashed, and no alarms sounded, yet he felt the ship's energy pulsing around him. The humans welcomed him aboard. Not with weapons, not with suspicion, but with calm, measured curiosity. The human leader, the same woman he had seen before, greeted him with a small smile, her eyes revealing nothing, yet conveying everything. The commander felt exposed, as if the humans could see into his mind. She spoke softly. "You are curious, but you must understand. Observation is allowed, harm is forbidden. Any mistake could be costly." The commander nodded, unable to hide his awe. As the ship moved, he watched humans at work. They repaired systems faster than thought possible, adjusted energy flows with precision, and coordinated every movement silently, as if they communicated through thought alone. A minor error on an alien ship would have been catastrophic, yet on the human ship, nothing ever went wrong. Every calculation was perfect, every system optimized, every action precise. The young commander realized that humans were not just capable, they were flawless in ways that aliens could barely comprehend. Suddenly, an alarm sounded on a nearby asteroid belt. A small alien fleet had attacked a human transport ship, thinking it was undefended. The human crew did not panic. They moved with grace, redirecting energy, activating shields, and disabling enemy ships without firing a single weapon. The young commander watched, wide-eyed, as alien ships were trapped, immobilized, or redirected. It was not destruction, it was control, efficiency, and power displayed without aggression. The aliens had underestimated humans again, and now they paid the price. The commander felt a chill in his chest. Humans could win battles without even fighting, and no alien could deny it. He realized that their reputation for being untouchable was only the surface. The true depth of their abilities was still hidden, and he feared what would happen if humans fully revealed themselves. After the incident, the human leader gathered the crew and the commander in the control room. She explained in calm, simple words, "We do not need to strike. Power is measured by control, intelligence, and patience. Aliens will learn, eventually, that force is not always necessary. Understanding and strategy are stronger." The commander could not stop thinking about her words. He remembered every human he had observed, every subtle movement, every quiet decision. Humans were patient, calm, and aware of every action in the galaxy. The aliens were beginning to understand that no attack, no matter how carefully planned, could succeed unless humans allowed it. The young commander returned to his fleet, carrying stories of human efficiency and unseen power. His superiors listened, skeptical at first, but soon fear replaced doubt. Every fleet began reconsidering their approach. No longer was the rule against harming humans just a law. It was a warning, a lesson in humility. Stories spread quickly. Humans could repair, defend, and control without weapons. Humans could outthink and outmaneuver fleets. Humans could dominate without aggression. The galaxy trembled quietly, acknowledging the invisible strength of a species that had been underestimated for centuries. And somewhere on the human ship, the leader looked at the stars, her calm smile hidden in the dim light, knowing the aliens were learning slowly. The humans did not need to strike to win. They only needed to exist, to show their subtle control, and the galaxy would obey without a single shot fired. The commander whispered to himself, "We do not understand them. We cannot control them. And perhaps we never will." Fear and fascination burned in his mind. The humans remained untouchable, patient, and fully aware of their enemies' thoughts. As the ship disappeared into the vastness of space, the commander knew that this was only the beginning. Humans were preparing for something greater, something the galaxy could not yet imagine, and the rule remained unbroken: no alien could harm them, ever. The alien council was in chaos, debates echoing through the massive chamber as leaders from countless worlds argued about what to do next. Every fleet commander had reports of human activity that left them uneasy. They could not understand how a species so seemingly fragile could wield such power. The young commander from previous missions remained silent, haunted by memories of the calm humans he had observed and the invisible control they seemed to exert. Whispers of fear spread among the council members. Some argued for diplomacy, others for observation, but a few brash voices demanded a test of strength. They wanted to see if humans were truly untouchable or if the legends were exaggerated. The council elders, their multi-eyed faces grim, reminded everyone of the ancient law: humans were forbidden to be harmed. To break this law was not just rebellion, it was suicide. The young commander could not help but wonder, what would happen if someone dared to disobey the rule? Far away, on a planet shrouded in mist and silence, humans had anticipated such thoughts. Their scouts had already observed alien movements, calculating each step the intruders might take. Humans had built cities and defenses that seemed ordinary but hid intelligence and technology far beyond alien comprehension. Every bridge, every tower, and every vehicle contained hidden systems capable of neutralizing threats instantly. A single misstep by any alien could trigger consequences far greater than they imagined. The humans did not need to attack, they only needed to be prepared, calm, and observant. Meanwhile, the alien fleet gathered near a strategic sector, hoping to observe a human transport convoy. They believed it to be unarmed and vulnerable, but humans had already anticipated the approach. Energy fields shimmered invisibly around the ships, and the humans coordinated silently, moving with the efficiency of a single organism. When the first alien scout attempted to breach the convoy, he was stopped without a sound. A subtle pulse immobilized his ship, forcing him to retreat in shock. The young commander watched, unable to hide his awe. He realized the human strength lay not in brute force, but in planning, precision, and the subtle control of energy, space, and movement. The aliens had underestimated them again. Back at the council chamber, panic spread quietly. Stories of the failed attack reached every member, and murmurs of doubt replaced the brash calls for aggression. "How can we fight them?" a voice whispered. "Their presence alone defeats us." The elders nodded grimly. The humans had demonstrated once more why they were untouchable. Their power was invisible, strategic, and absolute. Yet the council's fear only grew, for the humans' true potential remained hidden. Nobody knew the full extent of what they could do. On the human side, preparations continued calmly. Leaders monitored every alien movement, every attempt at testing defenses, and every fleet that approached. Humans did not react with panic or anger. They simply adjusted, optimized, and controlled the situation. One human leader, the same woman the young commander had encountered before, smiled faintly as she observed the alien fleets. "They will learn," she whispered to her aides. "They will understand eventually, but only if we let them see a little at a time. Patience is more powerful than force." The humans were teaching without speaking, showing their superiority through action and calm control. The alien fleets returned to their territories with reports of the humans' efficiency, precision, and unseen power. Every commander who had witnessed the events knew the stories were true. Humans could repair and defend in ways aliens could not comprehend, and they could control entire sectors without firing a weapon. Fear mixed with fascination. The young commander, now haunted by repeated encounters, could not sleep. He thought constantly about the calm humans, the subtle energy that seemed to follow them, and the invisible rules they controlled. He began questioning everything he had learned about power, warfare, and strategy. What was the true limit of a human? Could any force in the galaxy challenge them directly? As the alien council reconvened, the elders made a difficult decision. Observation would continue, but no attack would be sanctioned. Humans were no longer just untouchable, they were untouchable and unknowable. Whispers of rebellion and testing had been silenced by the evidence humans had shown. The young commander realized that the galaxy was changing. The rules had always existed, but now aliens understood the consequences more clearly. Humans were not only a species, they were a force of nature, patient, observant, and fully aware of the universe around them. Somewhere across the stars, the human leader looked toward the galaxy, calm and smiling faintly. Her people did not boast, did not strike without reason, but the aliens had begun to understand that their patience, intelligence, and subtle control were stronger than any fleet, weapon, or law in the galaxy. The young commander whispered to himself again, "We cannot touch them, we cannot fight them, and perhaps we cannot even understand them. Yet we must watch. We must learn." The humans had won again, not with violence, but with presence, patience, and unseen power. The galaxy had no choice but to respect the rule. No alien could harm humans, and the deeper truth of their abilities was only beginning to unfold. The aliens returned to their worlds, haunted, curious, and cautious, while humans continued quietly, preparing for the day when the galaxy would finally realize the full extent of their power and wisdom, a day that would arrive on the humans' terms, not the aliens'. The alien fleet was restless, their ships hovering near the edge of a human territory, engines humming quietly in the void of space. Every commander knew the rule: humans were untouchable. Yet curiosity burned in their hearts, and pride whispered that perhaps one careful strike could test the limits of this forbidden law. The young commander, still haunted by his previous encounters, felt a mixture of fear and fascination. He had seen humans move with calm precision, control invisible energy, and dominate situations without firing a weapon. But still, he wondered, what would happen if they broke the rule? One ambitious alien from a distant world, impatient and reckless, decided to test the humans' defenses at night. He believed that a small, stealthy attack would reveal weaknesses and prove that humans were not as untouchable as the legends claimed. His fleet moved quietly, cloaked in shadows, aiming for a minor human outpost on a remote moon. The humans, however, had anticipated every step. Sensors undetectable to aliens monitored the fleet's approach. Energy fields shimmered faintly around the outpost, almost invisible, yet powerful enough to halt any attack. As the first alien ship approached, a pulse of energy radiated outward, stopping its engines instantly. The alien pilot struggled, panic rising as the controls refused to respond. He was thrown back by invisible force, the ship spinning helplessly in the void. The ambitious alien screamed orders to his fleet, but before anyone could react, the second and third ships were similarly immobilized. The humans had not fired a weapon. Their presence alone had neutralized the threat. From inside the outpost, humans watched quietly. They coordinated flawlessly, their eyes calm, movements precise, and energy flowing in ways the aliens could not comprehend. They did not celebrate, did not shout, and did not strike aggressively. Yet the alien attackers knew in an instant that they had been outmaneuvered completely. The young commander watched in awe, realizing that this was not luck or technology alone. Humans had control over their environment, over energy, and perhaps over forces that aliens could not see or measure. Their patience, calm, and intelligence created an invisible dominance that no alien could challenge. The ambitious alien tried to regain control, but every attempt was met with subtle resistance. Shields activated silently, engines were overridden, and communication signals disrupted, all without the humans leaving their positions. The commander understood then that the rule against harming humans was not merely law, it was survival. One misstep, one act of aggression, and an entire fleet could be neutralized before even realizing what had happened. The ambitious alien finally retreated, shaken and humiliated, muttering to himself about power that he could not understand. The young commander returned to the alien council, carrying tales of the failed attack. The stories spread quickly, creating a ripple of fear and respect among the fleet commanders. Arguments for aggression were silenced by evidence of human control. The elders reminded everyone that the humans were patient, observant, and far more powerful than their outward appearance suggested. Humans did not need to attack to win, they needed only to exist and maintain calm, and the galaxy would bend to their invisible influence. Across the stars, humans continued quietly, observing alien fleets, monitoring their movements, and learning without revealing the full extent of their power. Their strategy was clear: let the aliens test themselves, show restraint, and demonstrate patience. Force was unnecessary. Understanding, intelligence, and subtle influence were enough to control even the most aggressive species. The young commander could not sleep, haunted by what he had seen. The ambitious aliens' attack had failed completely, and the realization that humans could control entire fleets without firing a weapon weighed heavily on him. He thought of the calm leader, the subtle energy, and the invisible dominance humans seemed to command effortlessly. Across the galaxy, aliens began to whisper of humans in hushed tones, speaking of them as untouchable, unstoppable, and unknowable. Fear and awe mixed in every voice. The ambitious alien who had attacked was quietly removed from command, his pride shattered. The young commander, however, grew more curious. He wanted to learn more, to understand the humans' abilities fully. But even he knew that any misstep could result in total failure. Humans were not just untouchable, they were a force that commanded respect through strategy, control, and intelligence. And somewhere on the remote moon, the human leader observed the stars, her calm smile hidden in the darkness. She did not need to strike to win, but she ensured that every alien fleet understood that their attempts at aggression were futile. The galaxy had learned, once again, the lesson humans had taught for centuries. Patience, intelligence, and subtle control were far more powerful than brute force. The rule remained absolute: no alien could harm humans, and any thought of rebellion or testing could bring consequences that no species could survive. The young commander whispered to himself, "They do not fight to dominate, yet they dominate without fighting. We cannot touch them, and we may never understand them fully." The humans remained patient, calm, and aware, preparing for the future, while the aliens slowly realized that their place in the galaxy was no longer one of unchecked power. Humans had quietly become the force that even the strongest species feared, and the universe was beginning to understand that breaking the rule was impossible without paying a price no one could survive. The human homeworld glowed softly beneath the stars, a planet of calm beauty and silent power, hidden from the prying eyes of alien fleets. Alien scouts had seen the cities from orbit, expecting chaos or weakness, but they were greeted instead by a breathtaking vision: floating structures, seamless landscapes, and technology that seemed almost alive. The young commander who had witnessed previous encounters could hardly believe his eyes. Ships that looked fragile hovered effortlessly, energy flowing around them in patterns he could not decipher. Streets moved, lights pulsed rhythmically, and everywhere he looked, humans operated with quiet precision. He felt the same strange energy he had experienced before, an invisible presence that seemed to observe his thoughts as easily as he observed the humans. The humans did not hide, yet they remained untouchable, calm, and fully aware of every alien movement. The young commander landed carefully on a platform and stepped out, his multiple eyes scanning the scene. Humans approached him, not with weapons or anger, but with measured curiosity. The familiar leader greeted him with a faint smile, her eyes calm but piercing, revealing knowledge and understanding far beyond his comprehension. "Welcome," she said softly. "You may observe, but remember the rules. Any mistake can have consequences you cannot imagine." He nodded, humbled by her words and by the perfection of the human city. As he followed her through the streets, he noticed how humans coordinated effortlessly. Workers repaired machinery instantly, drones moved without collisions, and even the flow of traffic seemed perfectly synchronized. Nothing was chaotic, nothing was wasted. Energy pulsed quietly beneath the surface of the city, invisible yet palpable, responding to the human's presence, controlled with a precision that no alien technology could match. He realized that humans had not only anticipated every attack from outsiders but had built a civilization that could survive and thrive under the observation of hostile fleets. Suddenly, a holographic screen lit up nearby, showing alien ships moving in real time across the galaxy. The humans watched silently, calculating, predicting, and responding in ways that made the young commander's mind reel. Even the smallest alien fleet attempting surveillance could be detected, tracked, and countered before it reached human space. The humans did not strike preemptively, they only prepared, adapted, and observed. A sudden test occurred when an alien fleet moved near the outer orbit, hoping to gauge the humans' defensive systems. Without warning, energy pulses immobilized several ships at once, forcing them to retreat. No humans had fired a weapon, yet the aliens felt the full extent of the humans' control. The young commander could hardly comprehend it. Humans were untouchable not through aggression, but through intelligence, preparation, and quiet mastery of energy and technology. He realized that the rule against harming humans was more than law. It was a necessity for survival. To disobey it was to invite disaster. He followed the human leader to a massive observation tower that floated above the city. From there, he could see the entire planet, its glowing energy fields, and the invisible defenses that protected every structure. The humans moved through the city with calm precision, communicating silently, responding to the smallest changes in environment, and predicting alien movements before they occurred. The young commander felt a mix of fear and awe. He had studied countless species, conquered entire worlds, yet he had never seen anything like this. Humans were not just advanced, they were flawless in strategy, patience, and control. The human leader turned to him, her eyes calm yet intense, and said, "You see our home, but you do not yet understand. Our power lies not in destruction, but in preparation, observation, and patience. Aliens believe they see strength, but true strength is control without aggression." He nodded, feeling humbled and enlightened at the same time. The fleet he represented would never challenge humans openly again. He understood that now. Even the slightest provocation could be met with invisible, unstoppable force. The young commander realized that the galaxy's balance had shifted. Humans were no longer just survivors, they were rulers of their own fate, untouchable and unknowable. Across the stars, alien fleets whispered of the human homeworld, speaking in hushed tones of floating cities, invisible defenses, and control beyond understanding. Fear and curiosity burned in equal measure. The humans, calm and patient, continued their work quietly, aware of the aliens' thoughts and movements. They allowed the fleets to observe, to learn slowly, but they did not reveal their full power. The young commander could feel it. The humans had a plan, a purpose, and a patience that spanned centuries. They did not need to strike. Their presence alone commanded respect and caution. And as he looked across the glowing cities, the floating towers, and the perfectly synchronized activity, he whispered to himself, "They are untouchable, unstoppable, and wiser than any force in the galaxy. We are learning slowly, but we may never truly understand them." The human leader smiled faintly at the stars, knowing that patience, intelligence, and subtle control would always be stronger than aggression. The aliens returned to their ships, their minds racing with fear and fascination, as the humans quietly prepared for the day when the galaxy would finally recognize the full extent of their power, a day that would arrive not through force, but through intelligence, strategy, and patient dominance. The galaxy held its breath as whispers of human power spread to every corner of space. Alien fleets moved cautiously, unsure where humans would appear next or how they might respond. The young commander, now seasoned by previous encounters, felt both fear and curiosity, knowing he had witnessed only a fraction of what humans were capable of. The humans had remained calm throughout, observing, calculating, and preparing, but never striking without reason. Now, the moment had come for the truth to reveal itself. The human council, gathered in the central chamber of their homeworld, prepared to communicate directly with the alien leaders for the first time in centuries. Holographic projections appeared across the galaxy, showing humans in their cities, their fleets, and their quietly humming machines. Every movement was precise, every action deliberate. The humans spoke, their voices calm but carrying weight that resonated in every star system. "Aliens of the galaxy," the leader said, "we have always been clear, humans are not to be harmed. This is not simply a law, it is a principle of balance. Any attack on humans triggers consequences beyond your understanding, consequences that affect the entire galaxy." Across the fleets, alien commanders whispered among themselves, fear and awe mingling in their voices. Some could hardly believe what they were hearing, while others felt the chill of realization deep within their bones. The humans did not need to threaten, they simply presented the truth, and the galaxy understood. Then the leader revealed the evidence, ancient records, and technology that demonstrated humans' centuries-long role in protecting civilizations, stopping wars before they started, and maintaining cosmic balance. Fleets that had once thought humans were weak or isolated now realized how vast their reach and influence truly were. The young commander felt his heart race, knowing that every fleet that had considered testing humans had been foolish. The humans' patience was endless, their intelligence unmatched, and their power invisible but absolute. Across the stars, alien vessels hesitated, unsure how to respond. Some had already suffered subtle, invisible countermeasures when they had moved too close to human territory. It was proof that humans did not need to fight openly to command respect. Their mere existence reshaped the strategies of entire fleets. In the human cities, leaders coordinated silently, monitoring the galaxy with precision. The young commander watched a display of fleets that had once planned attacks, now frozen in analysis, calculating how to avoid triggering the humans' unseen defenses. Energy pulses controlled space subtly, shields and sensors anticipating movements before they occurred. The humans were everywhere and nowhere, patient, observant, and fully aware of every detail. The alien council finally spoke, voices trembling as they acknowledged the reality. Humans were untouchable, not through legend, but through undeniable demonstration of skill, strategy, and subtle dominance. Some of the brash alien commanders who had once doubted humans now bowed in respect, understanding that the law was not merely a warning, it was survival. The young commander thought back to the human leader who had greeted him with a calm smile, whose eyes had seen into his mind, and realized that humans were not only protectors but rulers of their own fate. The humans had prepared for centuries, anticipating curiosity, aggression, and tests from alien species, yet they had never broken their principle of patience. They allowed the galaxy to learn slowly, revealing only as much as necessary. The young commander felt humbled, knowing that his own fleet, and perhaps the entire galaxy, had underestimated the humans' patience and intelligence. Then the humans made their final point clear: they did not need to strike to dominate. Their understanding of balance, control, and observation made them stronger than any fleet, weapon, or strategy. Any attempt to challenge them directly would fail. Across the galaxy, alien leaders whispered of humans in hushed tones: untouchable, unstoppable, and unknowable. Fear and awe replaced arrogance and ambition. The young commander returned to his post, changed forever by what he had witnessed. He knew that humans had become the true silent rulers of the galaxy, their presence alone shaping strategies, alliances, and decisions across star systems. Somewhere on their homeworld, the human leader looked at the stars, calm and smiling faintly, knowing the galaxy had finally learned the lesson humans had been teaching for centuries. Patience, intelligence, and subtle control were stronger than force, and the rule would remain absolute. Humans had won not with aggression or conquest, but with presence, observation, and strategy that no alien could match. The young commander whispered to himself, "They are untouchable, unchallengeable, and wiser than anything we have known. We have learned the truth, and we cannot unlearn it." The galaxy settled into a new balance, one defined not by fear of weapons or fleets, but by respect for a species whose patience, intelligence, and unseen power ensured that no alien could ever harm them. And in that quiet, the humans prepared for the future, confident, calm, and always several steps ahead, knowing the universe had finally recognized their true strength, a strength measured not in violence, but in control, wisdom, and the untouchable nature of their existence.